Okay, this game that I want to show now is a game that I played in my chess club yesterday night, and I played white and black, and it's a nice game. I want to show it. Let's start, because I only have 10 minutes for these videos, and it's not a long time. d4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, g3, b6, bishop to g2, bishop b7, castles, and then c5. I'm trying to attack the center, and my opponent is a player that he is mostly satisfied with the draw. So he is one of the players that plays very safe, and that's, I think, what he played. c3, c4 would have been actually more active and probably better. Bishop e7, bishop g5, castles, knight b to d2, and then d5. And here I already was satisfied with my position. I have influence in the center. My development is okay. It's almost complete. And here my opponent made his first mistake, taking on c5, because actually he gives up the center. The influence on a square e5 is completely gone after this. I was thinking about how to retake. I thought about 5 minutes about it, and I couldn't find a good decision which was better. I took with the bishop, but probably with taking with the b pawn would have been maybe better, because it strengthens the center more. Well, he went with the knight to b3, and I went back to e7. The knight goes to d4, and now I go with my knight to e4, centralizing the knight and wanting to exchange this bishop, this dark square bishop. I expected that he would play bishop f4, but he didn't. He took the bishop on e8, and I took it back with my queen. And then rook c1. This moment is actually very important, because right now he is looking for a possibility to play c4. That would be a way of improving his position, getting more space, and well, challenging my center. And that's why I played a move that he didn't expect. I play knight to d6, and that is a move that controls both important central squares. So from now on it's very difficult for him to get some counterplay. He plays rook e1, and I went on with e5. The knight goes to b6, and I develop at last my last piece. Knight to d7, e3, and then f5, and now I have total control of the center. I have more space. This is a very nice position for me. Now the thing is, I will go on with the moves while I talk. The thing is that I had to find a way how to exploit this advantage. And that's something that is not very easy to find. Now I move my last piece into play, rook e8, and he played h3 to prevent knight g4 eventually later. My queen went to f7, looking at this f file, because after I played f5 I was already thinking of later maybe playing f5, f4. Knight b to d2, and this is my first mistake that I make. I played bishop c6. Actually, of course I'm threatening bishop to b5, attacking this queen that is cannot go anywhere, so he would have to play c4, and then he will lose some material. But the thing is that this is only a little threat, and not more than that. Actually, at this moment he could have played c4 to liberate his position, because my bishop on c6 is undefended. So the idea is that I cannot take on c4, because then he takes, and after I retake he can go with this knight to g5, or with this knight take here on e5, because then after I move my queen this bishop is hanging. Okay, so in this position he could have played c4. Of course I don't need to take on c4. I can also play queen to b7, but then his freeing move c4 is already done. I don't lose any material. I still have a good position, but it was a mistake on my part to play the bishop to c6. Oops, I'm sorry, bishop c6, that's it. But he didn't see it, c4. He played knight to b3. I went to b5 with my bishop and his queen to c2. Then bishop a4. You see, this part of the game is a part of the game that I don't really know how to continue. I have a better position, but I don't really know how to exploit it. So I was just looking for things, for little threats and little things, but it's not I don't think it's the correct way. Queen d2, knight to c4, queen c1, and now I thought, okay, I have to do something to improve, to exploit this better position, and I took a decision that was quite risky. I played e4 because I was aware of the fact that I'm giving now a very important square for the knights, for the white knights, but my idea was to put a knight here on d3, and this is how it continued. Knight f to d4, knight e5, bishop f1, knight d7, the other knight goes to d3 also, king g2, knight c5. Now both knights can jump into d3, queen d2, and now g5, my other plan, preparing f4, bishop to e2, the knight goes into d3, exchange, and there I have my strong knight on d3, the rook to f1, and now f4. And here I was satisfied, very satisfied with the continuation, because I'm getting a strong attack on the king. G takes, knight takes, check, king goes to h2, and as I told you before, no, I didn't actually. Well, all right, I'll tell you now. The pace of the game, it was 1.5 hours for 35 moves. So we have a time control at move 35, and we both were already getting into time trouble. This is move 34, so we needed one more move, and then it's quite difficult to have these kind of positions because they are very tactical, and I don't want to spoil this position by a tactical mistake. The first move that I thought about in this position was taken with my knight on h3, but I only had 1 minute, maybe 1 minute 15 seconds, something like that, so I had no time to calculate it, and I didn't want to take the risk, so I played a more solid move that must be good also, king to h8. He went with this rook to g1, and then my move 35 was queen to h5. This is already a won position. Now knight to h3 would actually win maybe faster, but this is also won. Rook g3, and then the bishop goes to d7, and the pressure on h3 is actually too much to handle. There is no defense. He played queen to e3, and I simply took the rook. And his idea was that there is let's say that this knight is gone, and the queen can go here, then there is a mate pattern there on h8, so that's why he decided to sacrifice that rook in hope to get something, but just after a few moves he had to resign. Rook g5, preventing my queen to go back to h5. I took on h3, and after rook g2, queen h5, my opponent resigned.